Empire.
Hello and welcome to my podcast. I have a packed one for you today. Redskins corner Quinton Dunbar joined me to talk about why he's playing so much better. Also, running backs coach Randy Jordan. He coached with Bill Callahan. He also one time played with Bill Callahan. Had a nice little conversation about what he learned from coaching with Callahan. I also answer your podcast mailbag questions, and I'm joined by Chef Mel at the end. But first, my interview with Quinton Dunbar. Hey, first of all, I'm just curious for you personally, how you feel you've been playing this year now that you're able to get back out, get into a rhythm, and kind of just basically be yourself again out there.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm just going out there and just playing my game, man. I don't really have a grade on me or anything like that. I feel like as long as I just continue to go out there and trust the process and things like that, everything else will take care of itself.
Where do you see an improvement even from yourself in these first 6 games? Do you see something different about yourself?
Yeah, I'm healthy. I mean, last year,
yeah.
People act like they forget. Like I started off hot last year, and I ended up at the end of the season on 6 games with 2 interceptions and 8 PBUs. So, I mean, I don't get too high or too low on that. I mean, I just focus on the task at hand and just go out there and try to play ball.
How much when you are able to, because like you said, even when games you were playing in last year, you weren't always healthy.
Yeah.
So when you are healthy, what difference do you see in yourself and plays that you can make?
Oh man, I'm my explosive, fast self, man. I'm able to get in and out of breaks and just play my game, man.
And like Sunday, the interception, you just a really good read, really good break. What did you see on that play? And the way you broke, you're very confident. What did you see on that play?
Just reading my keys, different concepts and things like that. Going into the week, I know certain things that they like to do, and that play right there confirmed it as I was looking at the concept between number 2 and the back, and then I was able to just drive on my man to confirm.
So you knew what was coming when you lined up.
Yes.
One of the things that I think that's probably doesn't get talked enough about you is the work that you're doing with the film study and all that. And I remember talking to Will Blackman a couple times about how, like, when you were a rookie, I think when you made the change, he threw out an invite to his house, say, hey, come on over, watch some film. He said you were always there.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I piggyback on that in those years. I feel like the guys like the Will Blackman and the D Hall and Coach Harvey Hill installed that in me early. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, at first I was just out there playing off raw talent and things like that. But now, with those guys and then additionally T-Gray last year, I was able to just, take it to the next level. With me playing receiver already, I kind of already got an idea of other concepts. So breaking down the field just solidifies that and helps me out.
How much film work are you putting in all the time? It's like it just seems like it's something that you do.
Oh yeah, tons of film work. I mean, every day you can ask those guys. I even get those guys tips too. So, and I'm out there helping everybody, trying to help everybody out if I see something, calling out plays and things like that.
And what are some of the things that when you're watching? How long did it take you to get to watch film the right way, so that way you're getting something? Because like guys, sometimes I hear guys saying they took a while to get used to that.
Oh yeah, that's of course. I always watch film, but I didn't know what I was watching.
Right.
I didn't understand what to watch. So that, like I said, that took me a while until the D Halls and the Will Blackmans, and then to T Gray set me down and showed me what to watch.
And what did they tell you to watch?
Just different things, man. I ain't gonna really too much speak on that, man. I don't like to talk on that side of things, but just
can't give away too many secrets.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But how much does it help? Like now, once you started doing that, what was your growth like as a corner once you started doing that? What happened?
Oh, it helps you tremendously, and the reason I say that, the guys that play the longest in this league think with their mental and not with their physical ability. So when you bless with raw talent and things like that takes you a long way. But what about when you can't do that no more and you have to use your brain more? So I feel like me learning this is really just helping me, setting me up for the back end of my career.
Because you got you got the speed, you got the length and that stuff, but the speed sometimes starts to go a little bit.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Like I said, it's more mental than physical when it comes to the league, because everybody is good, dynamic, fast. It's about being in the right position to make plays, because they're going to make plays too, but you have to make your plays when they're presents itself.
How good do you think you can be?
I don't like to boast on myself and things like that, so I'm, like I said before, I'm going to just continue to put my head down and work. I'm not in it for, to brag about who's the best or how best you can be. I'm not in it for that. I'm here in it for it because I love the game, and and it helps give me a chance to provide for my daughter and things like that. So I'm not really big on who's the top guy or how good I could be. That's not my MO.
Just doing your thing and just do what you do.
Yeah.
When you obviously you knew Jordan from college and and all that, what's it like for you to see him go through with the concussion and have to now miss another year?
Oh, it's hard times, man. But he's in good spirit. I talk to him a lot, and I feel like he's doing the right thing. He's doing what's best for himself right now and his family. And everybody in this building knows, from top down, knows how great of a player Jordan is and how competitive he is. I mean, his last situation, he didn't even supposed to be in the game.
Right.
He wanted to get back out there, to try to, prove a point, which he didn't have to. So, with him being a competitor, it's eating him up inside. But I talked to him a couple of times, and I told him you gotta do what's right for you, because football don't last forever. And you have 3 beautiful girls who looks up to you and need you.
You think he'll want to play again?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I feel like in the future he probably play again. But right now, what's best for him is to let his body and his brain just reset.
It's a shame because he looked really good in camp.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I felt like he looked the best since besides that first year when I got in. This year, you could tell he really had, he really put forth the effort to get back to, himself and, solidify him being one of the top tight ends again in this league. So
one of the other guys that you would have faced in the summertime a lot would be Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
What did you see from him in the summer, and are you surprised at all with what he's done?
Oh, I'm not surprised at all, man. I mean, Terry grind for every inch of success he's having right now. When he got in, he was running with the twos, and he was killing them. Yeah. No disrespect to nobody, but it was a competitive. He was a competitive and fury with it. Like, he'll make a play, and he'll show so much emotion, like showing that he wanted to be good and great. Right. So I'm not surprised at all. I know it was just a matter of time as we went through OTAs, and he continued to make plays, but he was with the twos. Everybody he probably with the twos, But as he got to the ones, he continued to make them plays, and he's a special guy.
As a receiver, what stands out to you? Like, what are some of the things that you see him do that maybe stand out to you that makes him successful?
Number one thing, I mean, speed kills.
Right.
So he got that for sure. You can feel it when he runs. You can feel that speed. But most speed guys can't run routes, and the thing about Terry is he can run routes, right. and he worked at that. So I see him every day, even if we got a period off, he on the sideline, 1-2, or getting out his breaks and things like that.
Really?
So, most guys can't break down, and he can break down out of his breaks. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Last couple of things. Has this been a tough year? Just, you're having some success with the picks and all that, and just playing overall, but the team being 1 of 5, how hard has it been this season for you?
Man, we just getting started, man. I mean, we 1 of 5, but we got 10 more games to redeem ourselves. So we're gonna just continue to go out there and get better, and who knows what can happen. And we're gonna just continue to build for the future. We young, so not really build, but just continue to get better, so we can experience and get that growth in that youth. So we could be right back at the thick of things.
And it's funny you say that, because there are like a lot of guys under 25 on this defense.
Yes.
I mean, and so people forget, I think, sometimes how young you guys are.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. We got a lot of young guys. We got J.A. Payne and Matt, who are the heart of the defense, and they young. 25 years or younger. And then you got Jimmy, who's going to be a phenomenal player when he gets when he fully gets his chance, and then you got Fade, you got Monte, who's a marquee player too, and then Landon, and then put in me on. I'm 27, so
you're the old man.
I'm the old man at 27.
You're in your prime too.
Yeah, I'm just so the sky's the limit. And one thing I like about the guys is nobody down on themselves. We getting out here and working. Coach Callahan got us out here working. Nobody pouting, nobody crying. We just putting our head down and working.
Do you like that approach that he's brought?
Oh, most definitely, man. I feel like we working. It ain't no knocks off the Jay or anything. Right. I mean, I feel like Jay did a pretty good job too. But like I said, nobody's pouting. We 1 of 5, and nobody's not going to feel sorry for us. So we getting out here and working every day.
Cool. Thanks, Quinton. Appreciate it, man. After this break, I'll be back with my interview with Redskins running backs coach Randy Jordan, talking about what he learned from Bill Callahan. Welcome back. Now here's my interview with Redskins running backs coach Randy Jordan. You coached with Bill.
Yeah.
You played for Bill.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was very it was a learning experience. You know what I mean by that is that's why I grew as a player.
Really?
I grew as a player under him, and I grew as a coach under him.
Oh, it's fine. Talk to the media.
Not only was it a situation where I was able to work alongside him and continue to learn, but there's not a major decision that I've made in my professional career that I hadn't
Really?
pretty much consulted with him. So we have a different relationship. We have a working relationship, but we've been through so much together, so we can draw from that. And but yeah, that's somewhat of our relationship.
I remember reading something. You said that from him you learned that all people don't learn the same.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, I think the biggest thing is when I was in Oakland. I was fortunate enough to play in a couple of AFC championships, and then we finally get to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we lost, but we had a bunch of great guys. We you look at that room. You had myself, you had Tyrone Wheatley, you had Charlie Gardner, you had Zach Crockett, you had John Ritchie, and the thing was that we were all different. And what I learned was through him is that he would treat everybody the same. He would coach him the same. He would demand the same, but he would talk differently to Charlie Gardner than he would talk to
Really?
me. Meaning that like he knows how to get the best out of you, but at the same time, everybody learns differently. Everybody accepts criticism differently. And part of being a good coach, from what I learned from him, is that you have to figure out how to tap into that.
Sure.
Like, for instance, I don't talk to Wheat, Smallwood, like I talk to AP or Adrian Peterson. So what I mean by that is I coach them all the same. I demand of them. You get after it. But at the same time, I know if I go to Chris on a mistake, Chris has probably already beat himself up 50 to 60 times. Whereas with a young guy, like a guy like Cootstown, right? Mm-hmm. Craig, on the practice squad, I have to coach him a little bit differently.
Right.
So that's kind of what I've learned from him.
And that's a pretty big deal in this business.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's huge because I think the biggest thing is it makes you human, like being able to tap into that human side and be able to draw from them when you need to. I give you an instance. Like this might be saying too much, but when I played, I had 4 times played under John, and I played under Bill, and they know my family, and they know like there's times where John and Bill they get on me. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call Miss Jordan, get you right." And it was one of those things where like they knew like the relationship we had in terms of. Like she'd get after me too, So that's they knew that relationship. So I think the biggest thing is being able to tap into that.
The funny thing is too, because big talk this week. Well, you want us to run the ball, want to be physical.
Yeah.
That 2002 year, you guys threw the ball a lot.
Yes, we did.
So it's not like, and even that. I know in Nebraska, your offense was really good.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't always just a
run-focused
situation.
Right.
What does that say?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he's able to adapt. Mm-hmm. If he feels like that week, I'll give you an instance. We played Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh, they were Pittsburgh was pretty good. And we went in there and we won. We threw the ball 45 times, 45 to 50 times, I think. And then there was games where we had to ground and pound,
60-some rushes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had to ground and pound on some games, and but that's him looking at the tape, saying, okay, maybe we have an advantage in the offensive lines. Maybe this week we need to minimize the game and it's about attempts and letting our defense rest and trying to, keeping the offense, a high-powered offense off the field. And like, hey man, let's just keep peeling away, and just wear them out with the physicality part of it. So I think there may be some times where like, hey man, they got a good front, maybe their back end is good, let's throw it. So I think that's part of being a good coach.
Right, and that's why, because I think people kind of hear that and think, oh, it's just going to be this, but it could be this, could be that.
Yes.
And no, you weren't there in 2003, right?
No.
Okay.
That would have been...
that was the year after the Super Bowl.
No, actually I was.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I came back and I actually coached. That's when I came back.
Oh, okay.
I coached under him.
Oh, okay.
I was a special teams assistant.
That was a crazy year.
Yeah.
So, and I know he caught a lot of heat for things.
Yeah.
The dumbest team in America quote and all that.
Yeah.
How was that year, and how did he handle things?
It was difficult. I came in half of the season, and you had some guys, that obviously a year goes by, guys get older. We had an older team, and we could never get into a rhythm. Had some injuries, and I tell you, I saw a side of him that even made me respect him even more. Because I had just got into coaching, so you got to think about this.
Right.
I had come from being a player to all of a sudden I'm sitting in these meetings and I'm like trying to learn. I'm trying to figure out, is this a profession I really want to go down this road? I mean, I really was like contemplating, is this what I want to do? And then as I watched him and how he handled that whole situation, it even gave me more like, man, that's what I want to be. That's because I could see like the benefits of fighting through adversity, coaching people, coaching players, and get them on one accord. Things may not be good all the time, but figuring it out, going through the process. And when I saw how he handled it, I was like, man, that takes a lot of character.
The other thing I heard, somebody told me that his Saturday meetings were like longer than anybody else's, because he said, you do the usual, go over the game plan, go over the 15 plays, and then he said, someone was telling me, then he'd keep us there 7 more hours.
7 more hours. Well, I was just.
Is that too long or too short?
I would. It's come on, 7 hours.
It's a long time. I know.
You gotta sleep.
I know.
Okay, but I would just say this.
He said Saturday afternoon during
the night before the game.
Yes, right.
Well, this is the thing. He's detailed. I'm gonna just leave it at that. He's detailed. He's detail oriented. There is no gray. It's black and white. This is what you have to do to get better. This is, if you don't want to do it, that's on you. These are the keys to us winning. There's no gray. There's no gray when it comes to him. And that's the thing I appreciate it, because as a player, the only thing, and I've learned this from him, the only thing that I want as a player is, one, how can you help me get better?
Right.
How can you help me get better? 2, are you going to hold me accountable? Are you going to hold me accountable to all the things that we're trying to do? And number 3 is, are you going to put me in position on game day? Either by scheme or by fundamental techniques that you've learned, that I can go and perform at my highest level.
Last thing, how is this going to affect Adrian now with this committee? I mean, I know, listen, I don't think it's any secret that he would like to get the ball a little bit more. A little bit. So how does this affect him moving forward, do you think?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you have to understand, Bill and myself and Phil, we spent a lot of time together because we were integrated.
Yeah.
We depend on the line depends on us. We communicate constantly, from run game, okay, from protections. How do we want to block this scheme? What do you want me to tell my back on this pull scheme? Do you want him to slow play it? So there's a natural easiness that comes with this transition for Adrian, because he has a relationship with him already in terms of, from just give you an example, like when going through the run game, or if there's something that he feels like he needs to discuss with Bill, he'll go to Bill. Like, Bill, what do you want me to run that? You want me to hit that thing fast or medium? What kind of tempo you want? Are you telling your guard to be inside out? Are we looking to log this week to get it outside? So it's not like something where they've had previous discussions before. So I think it's going to give him a kind of like a splash of or a reset for him, knowing that he can go to the head guy now and say, "Hey, coach, what's my role?"
And I'm sure he would like to get a bigger role.
Yes.
I think, like I said, I think we all know that, but it's like
Yes,
doesn't take a
yes.
rocket scientist to figure out that
there's no reason.
he's a running back.
It's a reason. Well, not only that, he's
a Hall of Famer.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, like I tell him all the time, man. I was like, look, we know where we don't talk about numbers, but I don't want to be that guy, man.
Yeah, I know.
And we have fun with it, but he's a
Yeah,
competitor.
you're still fucking talking. That's another fine.
You see how he treats me?
That's all I had, anyways.
That's it.
That's it. After this break, it's time for, well, maybe not Therapy Thursday, but the doctor's still in because you still had a lot of questions you want answered. So I'm going to get to those in a minute. Okay, it's not time for Therapy Thursday. I do think that a lot of you guys still need the doctor, though, and so let's get to the questions, even though it's coming off a win. Let's go. Jessie Marie Roberts at Hawkeye Warrior wants to know, what was the biggest difference you saw in the team last week from the previous 5 weeks under Gruden? Well, Jessie, it's really about the difference in things that I saw from the previous 5+ years. Gruden was not a disciplined coach, and we saw that not only in the penalties, but in the details. There were too many times things were allowed to let slide out there, guys being late, etc. Now, I think it's damn hard to come in and change things right away. The time to make a real impact as a coach is in the spring when you lay down your foundation, and by the time camp rolls around, everybody knows what's expected. They're changing it midstream. You're working a certain way and the other way. In this situation, it's difficult, but my belief is what they need to do is reestablish how they work and provide a foundation for a new coach moving forward. I had someone tell me this the other day. Assuming Callahan won't be the new coach, what a new coach will do is watch the practice film from after the firing. They'll want to know who's practicing hard. It'll tell them a lot about who they want to keep. That's what I think Callahan is trying to build. Listen, I think this is kind of an audition for him to remind people that he can coach. But regardless, he needs to reestablish a certain foundation here. Another difference, how he talks about quarterback Dwayne Haskins. I don't think that Haskins is really any closer to starting than he was a week or two ago, or at least to being as ready as they want or need him to be. But Callahan knows that part of his job now is to get him ready. As I've said often, they were doing things before, but the difference was you had a head coach who knew he was probably getting fired and had one another player at 15. It creates a natural issue. Also, what I absolutely think needs to happen is the coaches need to find a way to engage Haskins more, and get him engaged more. And I think Callahan, through his public words, is doing something along those lines. That is a difference. Haskins is the future. Your job as a coach is to make it work. Okay, Jay at Redskins called. What does Bruce gain by not trading Trent? Okay, how about more bad publicity? Hey, here's the deal. I've said this for a while, but the feeling there has been you can get more value out of this Trent by waiting till the offseason. At that time, teams would see the theory is teams would see what's in the draft or free agency and know if those players would be attainable based on their draft standing or their cap space and how they compare to Williams. Again, that's their theory. But if I'm Bruce Allen, I'm not just giving them away right now. Why? The draft, unless you're getting players back, the draft is until April, so whether you trade them now in February, is there really a difference? I know fans want to move on. I know they don't trust Allen to get it right. That ultimately is a problem. I do think if they could land a playmaker as part of a package right now using Trent, then I think they would. And playmaker is somebody to give Dwayne Haskins more help for when he ultimately does play. you'd have Terry McLaurin on one side, someone else on the other, whatever. And I don't see that happening right now, but I think that's what it probably would take to make it right now. If Williams doesn't want to be here, it's smart business to just trade him at some point. But you have to get a good offer too. My fear for them would be if Allen thinks he can either change Williams' mind through whatever actions, fines, mischecks, whatever. He's misplayed other situations before, so I think that's where I think fans, and I don't blame you if you don't have that trust or faith that it will work out to your advantage. John Rhodes, at one account Rhodes, wants to know, and this is a quick one, I've seen several people ask, but conflicting answers about Bryce Love. Is he going to stay on the IR PUP all year, or will they attempt to activate him? Okay, John, Love is not on the IR PUP list. He's on what's called the non-football injury list because he suffered the injury in college. He does not have to come off this list. Think about like how Junior Gillette from his second Achilles tear. That's what he was on too, the NFI list. I'm expecting Love to remain on there all season, and the few times I've asked around there, the expectation is that he will remain on there all season. I don't know that there's any real chance that he'll come off this year, and I don't know what the purpose would be if you're coming off a knee injury. Just let him come to next year. They knew when they drafted him that he was most likely going to be for the 2020 season. Josh Stack at Virginia Statesman 7. This is about Josh Norman clearly being picked on, worried about getting beat deep, giving up too much underneath. Is Moreland that much more of a drop-off? And if Norman won't be here, is Moreland that much more of a drop-off? And if Norman won't be here next year and the season is lost, why not give the kid some reps? Well, first of all, Moreland did get reps early in the year. He didn't earn any more. It's pretty much that simple. But also, that's not how this works. At 1-5, you might think it's lost. I might think the season's going a certain way, but there's no way that they're going to view it this way. You're going to still play your best players. You still have people who want to win and to look good. Coaches' jobs and their livelihood depends on it. If you start benching vets now just to play a kid who may or may not be a future starter for you, then it would send a rather bad message to the other vets. And vets do notice this stuff from around the league. Norman has not played great. He hasn't lived up to the contract, and I know there's some people there who would have moved on from him after last season. Not because he's horrible, but because the contract and the performance have not matched up. But he also hasn't played as poorly as people always say, mainly because I don't think everyone always realizes what's happening. And again, I'm not blaming. He gets some of the blame, but others do too. Take Sunday's touchdown, for example, that should have tied the game. Landon Collins put him in a bad spot by trying to jump a route. Collins was in a split safety look, so he's to the inside. Norman is playing the receiver as if he has inside help. When you're corner, you play for safety help, and it fails to be there, that's an issue on the safety. But it's the corner who ends up looking bad because he's the guy who's at the end of the play. That's happened a few times with him this year. Now, Norman needs to play better, and he's not at a point where they need to play Moreland ahead of him, though. Sometimes people, you can see what you want to see. The other defensive backs love Moreland. But while he did make plays in training camp, he also got beat, and he got beat while playing in the slot earlier this year too, and that's why Fabian Moreau went right back in. I do like him for the future. I don't know for what role yet. I would definitely look for another corner in the draft. Tim Meek wants to know, 12 personnel, better without Davis/Reed? Sure seems to be. Also says getting a two-way tight end should be a top priority in the offseason. All right, Tim. No, I don't think that it's better without those guys because you lose the threat of anybody at that position in the pass game. Jeremy Sprinkle is not a threat. I'll give you one example. Do you remember that crosser on third down? I think it was early in the game where Keenum doesn't hit Paul Richardson. On the play, Sprinkle runs a shallow crosser, and the linebacker line to his side on the inside does not move with him as he crosses the middle. He holds his ground. Had that been Reed or Davis, I'm convinced that he's going to slide a little bit to make sure that he's never open before passing him off because they're a threat. And that would have created a lane for Richardson. Instead, the linebacker stays home. Keenum has to wait, and by the time any separation Richardson had was gone. The blocking might be better, yes, but let's see how that plays out Sunday. I do agree, though, that finding another tight end is an absolute priority this offseason. And I had hoped that they would have added one last offseason. You can't get everybody at one time, but it's absolutely a priority this year, whether or not it's two-way or a top receiver, or get a guy who can get someone who can fill a role as a blocker, get someone who can fill a role as a passer, but you got to get more help. All right. Henry at Henny in the Cut. Any rumblings about trades not involving Trent? Any truth to the Jay Glazer's comment about Bruce being safe even if Skins win 1 or 2 games? Henry, this will be quick, and we'll get to the trades in a second with another question. But yes, I do believe he's safe. I've heard nothing to the contrary. I've gone over in detail in other podcasts why I feel he's safe or why Snyder keeps him. But in a nutshell, it's because of the stadium deal, how he reps Snyder in the league meetings, and the moves he makes that save him a lot of money. So the only thing I wondered about is if they only won a game or so, would that make a difference? And it doesn't seem to be the case. All right, let's close on this one. Jerome Green Jr. at Jerome in the Home. Do you envision any scenario where the Redskins may move an older veteran like Ryan Kerrigan before the deadline? Some people suggest trading Allen, Payne, or Ioannidis, but I can't see them moving their young talent. Jerome, I don't see Kerrigan getting traded. That's just my opinion. It's not something I've been told, but I did have someone predict to me, with ties to the organization predict to me a week ago or so that his prediction was the Redskins would extend Kerrigan perhaps after the season, knowing his popularity with the fan base. Whether or not that should happen or will, that was this person's prediction. Also, Jerome, I'd stop listening to whoever is suggesting they trade Allen, Payne, or Ioannidis. Why the hell would you trade a good young defensive lineman? The answer is you wouldn't. Anyway, thanks everybody for the questions. Now let's move on to Chef Mel. Okay, so now I'm back with Chef Mel, some more barbecue talk. And Mel,
Yes,
this is probably becoming our most popular segment because it's not about the games. So
it's not.
It's about food.
It's about food.
It's about food.
It's all about the food.
It's all about the food. So I want to get right to it. You made us something recently, the steak that was like, it's got a Cuban type flavor to it, and it was really good. And so I thought it might be good for people to hear how the process, the marinating you did with it, how you created those flavors.
Well, John, one thing you got to do, you have to marinate your meats. That's one thing that you want to do. And you want to do at least, within 24 hours to actually get that good flavor inside those meats. And what you marinate is with, just basic ingredients, onions, garlic, lime, orange juice, different flavors you can have in there, some cumin. So you got all these different flavors that you can actually add into your meat and just, put it into your container and let it sit overnight. And then once you pop it in, and like on the grill or wherever stovetop, you're going to have a good dinner or lunch.
And so, like, when you did this steak for us, how long did you marinate that one?
Over 24 hours.
Really? Because, it's funny because everybody has a different thing. Why do you like it that long?
Oh, man, because give it time to actually sit in and actually get all of the flavors inside the meat. You can marinate it within 2 to 4 hours, but I wouldn't recommend that. I recommend the longer you marinate it, the better it would taste, because it really...
Especially with the steak.
Oh, yes. All the flavor be into it. But the garlic, to me, I feel like the garlic played a big factor in the steak.
Yeah, I like the garlic.
You just, cut up, a few, garlic cloves and everything inside of there, and oh, man, it was so good.
So you said something about orange juice with it.
Yeah, just some orange juice, some lime juice. You want those flavors to go in it too.
That Caribbean type flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much orange juice would you put in there just for a couple of normal steaks? How much?
Man, it depends on how much steak you're cooking up and how much marinade you want to use.
Let's say a couple of nice.
Yeah, just a few marinades you want to use. But other than that, man, that's how you make your steak. And then you have it with the plantains and the rice and beans, and you got you a meal, John.
Now, when you're grilling it, and I know it depends on the thickness of the steak, how many minutes per side are you going to grill it typically? And I know it's going to depend on thickness. It's going to depend on what you want. Medium rare, So.
I definitely want a medium, man. Gotta have a medium rare. I mean, how you like your steaks?
Usually medium rare.
Now, I want to know how the people like their steaks out there. Y'all let me know how y'all like your steaks out there. That's a good question I want to know.
And hit up at Chef Mel, 12 Tables
Let
on
me know
Twitter.
how you like your steaks.
Yeah, because that's always the key. But let's say for medium rare, which is what you're doing. So how long per, how many minutes per side?
You want to do like three minutes per side. Depends on how thick. It's really about.
It's really about the thickness. I know it's hard. It's a hard question to answer.
You can have a flank or whatever
Correct.
you have on there. It could be like within minutes. You got to flip it over.
Right.
So.
Do you typically grill your steak, or are you will you stovetop with a skillet?
I do both.
Do you have a preference?
Like when I'm doing the Cuban style, I do it on the stovetop.
Why is that?
Because I'm giving that's when all of the marinated stuff start to come out, and then also the olive oil, everything I use, it's play a big factor in there. I can go on the grill with it, but it's like you kind of slow cooking it on the stovetop in a way.
Really? So when you do it, you're pouring the marinade in there with it?
No, I'm not putting. No.
Okay. It's still on there. I thought that. Okay, I mistook you. So then when you're on there, so you're slow cooking it. What do you do?
One thing you want to do is discard the marinade.
Absolutely. That's why I was surprised. I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah.
So I didn't think you would do that, but I wanted to double check. But then, so when you're putting it in there, how long is it still? Are you doing it at a different temperature or are you trying to get more flavor in there by slow?
I want to get more flavor in there, but what I try to do is try to get a little sear in there too. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Want to get it to a nice char. It depends, but it doesn't make a difference on it. I just really want it to come out really well. Actually, I still cook it medium. Actually, we had a medium.
Yeah.
So actually, I still like the steak to be at a good temperature. So that came out really well because you want to taste the flavor, but also taste the steak. You don't want it too chewy where you're like, oh man, it's well done.
Absolutely.
A lot of people like it well done, and I just don't know. All y'all well done people out there, how can y'all enjoy a steak? Only thing that be well done is some chicken. And you make sure your chicken is well done. But other than that,
I'm not a well done guy.
Even with seafood, you want your shrimp, just a couple of minutes with your shrimp. You don't want to just cook. Because once it curl up, once it go to a C, look, when the shrimp turn into a C, then that's when you know it's done. But you don't want to overcook it and make it all mushy and all that stuff either. So.
And that's a future episode more on the shrimp because I want to get to that in a couple of weeks. But last thing, Mel, Redskins were just down in Miami, hometown of Sean Taylor, good friend of yours.
Yeah, man, Sean was a good friend, man. I really enjoyed the time that he was here. Had some good times with him.
You guys were pretty tight.
He gave me some good advice, man. A lot of advice, man, that actually helped me through my life, man. I still think about him all the time through a lot of things that I go through because he actually just helped me, move forward with a lot of things that was challenging me, and
like what kind of advice?
It was just like advice, just just on success and how to become a better man and stuff like that. Just he was just giving me that one-on-one talk, just some some things that we was doing. It was weird to me because he used to be in his house and just lifting weights, his dumbbells, and I was like, man, Sean, you do have to stop, man. He used to jog home.
I know from
the facility, and I'm like, man, where you at? Oh man, I'm coming, man. I'm just just going home. So I like, man, you just a monster, man. You just out here.
Did you cook for him at that time?
Yeah, I didn't cook too much for him and everything at that particular time. We were just just really cool with each other. But I actually made a couple of things for him time to time.
And then you told me, this surprised me, we were talking before this, that people used to come up to him when you guys were out and challenge him or something, or what, or like.
Well, like they do with any other athlete, they just always want to have something to say. And just want to just say anything bad or good. So sometimes people try to pick with him, and he just ignore him. Hey, just ignore him and stuff like that.
Why would they do that?
But I just seeing that, I'm just like, why? I mean, they do it to this day. Like people just like, oh, they go such and such. Let me go just pick something with them so I can see if I can get next to them. Only thing what these people want to do is get underneath your skin. Yeah. So one thing, you don't let people control your day, control your mind, and control how you think or how you whatever you should do. And sometimes it get the best of you because you like, man, I'm just minding my business, and somebody come over here, hey, you suck, or anything.
Yeah, but he was a special talent. So, but you got a chance to
there's no cloth made like Sean Taylor, man. But you know what? He made some clones, in a way where he got some guys that actually really watch his game and stuff like that. And I can see the Sean in them guys. A lot of guys that rock the 21 and all of Sean, man, them guys. They play really well, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to think that it's been that long. It's 12 years.
Hey, seemed like only yesterday, man. It just yeah. But yeah, man. So look, we're gonna beat Miami. Ain't really hard to beat, but it's gonna be.
Yeah. So, but anyways, we're gonna end on that one, and appreciate you joining me, Mel.
Appreciate. I
know it's a hard way to end on that one because I know people still feel a certain way for Sean, but. We'll end on that one.
Hey, we're on that 21.
There you go.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Mel.
Thanks, John.
That's all for this week. Thank you very much to Redskins corner Quinton Dunbar for joining me, as well as running backs coach Randy Jordan and Chef Mel. Don't forget, you can read my work on ESPN.com, and I do appreciate you always listening. Thank you.